Hi guys, I'm James. I'm native English and I can speak Italian and Spanish. Today I'm going to talk about where to start with language learning and what are the most effective methods. So number one, the question is, why do you want to start learning a different language? It is very hard. There are shortcuts to it, or there's methods where you can streamline the whole process and learn quicker and more effectively than other methods. However, the main thing is it will require you to dedicate a lot of time over a longer period of time to actually learn a language. You have to get your brain to adapt and feel the new language. So for example, if a language is very similar, that can be a lot easier. So if you're learning Spanish and then you go and learn Italian from that point, like I did, then that can be easier because you can take concepts from Spanish and put it into Italian. However, the question is that you want to know, what are the most efficient ways of starting to learn a new language? The best way, I think, in starting to learn a different language is understand why you want to, like what motivations you have, and then focus on things related to that. For example, if you'd like to go to Italy and start cooking with a friend or something, or you have an interest in food and you really like the food over there, you like the kitchens and different tastes and smells, and you like to taste the food and explore different places in Italy to explore the food, then a good place to start for you would be something that aligns with your interest of food and things like that, eating stuff basically. So learn the vocabulary of food and learn things. Try and imagine a situation where you would find Italian really useful to know. For example, if you're in a restaurant and you're with friends and you want to impress friends or something, or you want to talk to the waiter or waitress about something and ask, is it spicy, is it nice, what do you recommend, what's the plate of the day, do you have specific ingredients in it, sort of thing. So if you want to know that, focus on a scenario, and then from that point it's a lot easier because it interests you. If you don't like something, then don't learn it. It's as simple as that. Also, what happens is your motivation is maintained over time. If you learn something that you're interested in, you're naturally, despite language learning, outside of learning a different language, you're naturally interested in something anyway. So it might be languages, might be cooking, it might be traveling, it might be business or something like I'm interested in. So for me, it would be, right, I'm going to learn words, I'm going to look at the most common words associated with business and then form basic sentences. It doesn't have to be correct. And one of the biggest points of advice I will give to you for anyone listening to this is, don't aim to be perfect straight away. Aim for imperfection and experiment and have fun with the language. It's easier said than done, because if you're talking to a native speaker, you can feel embarrassed about saying the wrong thing or being misunderstood. But you'll experience that if you say something very wrong, then you can still be understood regardless. It's amazing how incorrect you can be and still be understood. So bear that in mind, especially when you're just starting out. You're looking at literally a few words and phrases on a page, and you're wondering, okay, how can I make this grammatically correct? The answer is you don't. You just say the words. Doesn't matter if they're in the right order, but with the context. If you're, say, in Italy and you're testing out this language learning technique, or you're testing out this vocab that you're learning, if you try and say a few things with the context, the native speaker will most likely understand you. So don't worry about that at all. The second thing is, how do you get there and where do you start? So how do you get there? It has to be part of your lifestyle, in the same sense that if you want a six pack or you want to be physically fit, you have to go to the gym consistently. And it has to be part of your lifestyle, because as soon as it isn't part of your lifestyle again, then you will revert back to your previous self, essentially. So if I haven't been to the gym and I start going, then in 3 months' time, I will start to see a difference in the way I am, my fitness, my cardio performance, how out of breath I can get. I'll start to see it increasing. But then if I stop doing it for a while, it'll go down again. And it's the same with language learning. It would be lovely to be able to teach you to be able to show people how to learn certain bits of a language just for a holiday. And that could work. But the moment you get asked something that's outside of that line of conversation, you don't know what to say, because your brain doesn't know the language. It just remembers some useful keywords and phrases, which is perfect if you just want to say, how much is this? Or can I have a beer, please? Or or oh, it's too expensive. If you're negotiating at a market or something abroad on holiday and you want to negotiate, that's perfect. And you can learn numbers 1 to 10, 1 to 20 or something, so that's perfect. However, if you want to, a lot of people want to get fluent in a language. Now, with fluency, there's different definitions of it. If I say I'm fluent, I could mean that I have a basic or have an intermediate level of language. I can express myself and be understood. Many people want to be grammatically perfect, every single tense covered, past, future, conditional, everything like that. And if that's what you want, that's absolutely fine. It will take you a while to get there, but that's fine. However, for the purpose of this video, my definition of fluency, or being able to communicate with a native speaker, that is my goal. And that, I believe, is a goal for most people who say they want to be fluent or they want to learn a language. So when people say, I want to learn Spanish, I see it as I can converse in a different language. I make mistakes in terms of tenses, but I am completely understood by the native speaker. Occasionally I might say a word that's mispronounced, but then in the whole context of what I'm saying, they can understand it. So that's my point, and that's the goal for me in this video, basically, or the goal for me to teach in this video. So as part of that, you need to integrate language learning into your lifestyle so that you can communicate to this extent, to this amount, with native speakers. How do you do that? How do you incorporate languages into your lifestyle? Well, first of all, the one key component is time, but you don't have to give as much time into learning a language as you think. If you give 10 minutes a day to learn a different language, say Spanish or Italian, it's based on a few different factors, based on what language you're learning, how much exposure you've had to languages in the past, how different the language is to your native language, and a lot of different things. But if you spend 10 minutes every day looking at the same words and listening to the same words every single day for 6 months, you will have had more access, and you'll have had enough exposure to that language to recognise what people are saying and to actually have a basic conversation in maybe 6 months. That's a rough guesstimate. Some people it might take less, some people it might take more, but it takes a while. But you don't have to commit 2 hours a day or something ridiculous like that. That's what puts a lot of people off. So if you're put off by the amount of time you think it will take you on a daily basis in order to learn a language to the extent that you want to communicate in a conversational level with a native speaker, then don't let that put you off. If you do a few minutes a day, that's absolutely fine.